Welcome back to another explainer. Today, we're taking a really hard look at a piece of tech you probably have sitting within arm's reach right now. Yep, your smartphone. But more specifically, we're talking about how our insatiable appetite for the absolute newest, cheapest tech is actually costing us way more than we realize. And I mean both in our day-to-day sanity and on a massive global environmental scale. Okay, let's dive into this. You know that feeling when your old phone starts to stutter or the screen shatters and your first instinct is to just head online or run down to the carrier store for a quick, cheap replacement? We've all been there. But I want you to ask yourself, what is the true cost of a cheap budget smartphone? Well, it turns out that low price tag is hiding some seriously frustrating secrets, not to mention a hidden environmental impact that is just staggering. To really get a feel for the consumer side of this, take a look at this quote from a completely exasperated Reddit user in a massive thread about the budget phone experience. They were talking about people trying out a new OS and said they end up buying a $120 Android phone, only to throw it down 5 minutes later, saying it's slow, it's glitchy. Honestly, that perfectly captures that universal, immediate regret of buying cheap tech, right? Section 1. The Budget Smartphone Trap. So why is it that brand new sealed-in-the-box budget phones just fail to deliver a decent user experience the literal second we turn them on? And this brilliantly illustrates the core dilemma. On one hand, you have a brand new $150 budget phone. Sure, it looks shiny and new, but under the hood, it's running sluggish, bloated software on heavily outdated chips. Then, on the other hand, you have a 2-year-old flagship device. Okay, it's got a few miles on it, but it offers incredibly smooth performance, premium build quality, and years of software support. It's a night and day difference in usability. The real-world frustrations listed in that Reddit thread, they completely ruin the smartphone experience. Users literally describe the feeling as scrolling through mud. Yikes. We're talking about severe screen tearing, app loading times that'll make you want to pull your hair out, obnoxious pre-installed adware you can't even delete, and hardware powered by bottom-tier, years-old chips from MediaTek or Unisoc. Essentially, these devices are manufactured to be electronic waste right out of the gate, because they're practically unusable from day one. Section 2. The Mid-Range Compromise. Now, you might be wondering, all right, well, I'll just spend a bit more for a mid-range phone. That'll fix it, right? Well, even then, manufacturers kind of force you into a corner. Let's look at a prime example from the mid-range market, the iPhone 17e, coming in at $599. On paper, phenomenal. It packs the elite A19 chip, literally the exact same processor as the highest-end flagship. It finally bumps up to 256 gigs of base storage, rocks a great 48-megapixel camera, and even has MagSafe. But to hit that specific price point, Apple forces a really painful compromise, a sluggish, outdated 60 Hz display. It's like having a race car engine, but you're stuck driving on flat tires. The tech reviewers over at Android Authority actually hit the nail on the head here. They summarize this whole frustration perfectly, saying using the iPhone 17e feels like experiencing an 810 phone through a 510 window. That 60 Hz screen creates this ghosting and stuttering that completely ruins the blazing speed of that premium A19 chip. Make no mistake, it's an intentional visual downgrade, designed specifically to make you wish you had just spent more money on the flagship model. Section 3. The e-waste crisis. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it marks our transition from everyday consumer frustration to a massive global impact. Because, you see, this endless cycle of buying glitchy budget phones, getting super frustrated, and then chucking them in a drawer, it doesn't just hurt our wallets. It leads directly to this staggering reality. 89%. According to a deeply researched report from the Green Alliance, back in 2010, a massive 89% of mobile devices in the US were thrown straight into landfills. We are talking about 141 million devices just tossed right into the earth in a single year. No way, right? And hey, if they aren't going directly into the ground, they're doing this. Millions of perfectly good, highly valuable phones are just languishing, unused in our furniture. Come on, we all have that one junk drawer full of dead electronics, right? In the UK alone, it's estimated that somewhere between 28 and 125 million phones are just sitting in drawers. Think about that. For every phone in active use, up to 4 are sitting silently in a desk somewhere, slowly losing their value and their battery chemistry. But, you know, the real tragic part here is how easily we can actually fix the environmental side of this equation. Keeping a smartphone in use for just one extra year cuts its lifetime CO2 impact by a massive 31%. I mean, that is an incredible immediate environmental benefit. We just need a system that actually encourages us to keep using these devices or pass them on to someone who will. Section 4, the circular economy solution. This right here brings us to the paradigm shift that solves both our tech frustrations and the planet's e-waste problem in one go. Let's define exactly what we mean here. A circular economy for smart devices is basically a system that keeps mobile technology in use for much, much longer. It does this through direct reuse, minor hardware modularity so things can be fixed easily, and smart software support. This is a total departure from our current linear model of simply buying, using briefly, and tossing in the trash. The Green Alliance actually mapped out a brilliant framework for expanding the circular economy globally, focusing on massive markets like the US, the UK, and India. Instead of constantly pushing cheap, slow, brand new phones on entry-level buyers, the goal is to circulate 2- or 3-year-old premium flagship devices back into these markets. This maximizes their value and delivers a vastly superior user experience for the consumer. It's a win-win. So the crucial point is, this isn't just some altruistic environmental pipe dream. It is a massive financial opportunity. Look at this. Global used smartphone sales skyrocketed from 53 million units to an estimated 257 million in just a 5-year span. Consumers are definitely waking up to the fact that a used flagship phone is just vastly superior to a brand new budget device. Section 5, models for device longevity. So how do we actually make this happen at scale? Well, first off, we have to align the incentives. And the beauty is, everyone wins in this model. Consumers get a superior, buttery smooth flagship experience at a fraction of the cost. Manufacturers actually build higher brand loyalty because having a high resale value proves they make top-tier quality hardware. And mobile carriers, they unlock entirely new revenue streams by offering contracts on reliable, refurbished devices to price-sensitive customers. Let's move to and see how this builds in practice. Model 1 is software-led longevity. Right now, perfectly good hardware essentially becomes worthless the minute software updates stop. But by developing lightweight, second-life operating systems, firmware that turns off heavy visual animations and strips out bloatware, we can give older devices an entirely new, snappy lease on life for basic users. But, software is really only half the battle here. Hardware design is equally critical. Just look at this comparison. Replacing a cracked screen on an older iPhone 3GS took a technician about 15 minutes. Replacing a screen on the HTC One, that took 90 minutes. Since labor is always the biggest cost in repair, that single, simple hardware design choice by the manufacturer drastically impacts whether a phone lives another 2 years or goes straight to the landfill. And that leads us straight to Model 3 from the Green Alliance report, minor modularity. Look, we don't need fully build-it-yourself Lego-style modular phones. We just need highly vulnerable components, specifically the screen and the battery, to be easily swappable. By doing just that, manufacturers can realistically extend the lifespan of a smart device by 3 to 5 years, all while generating ongoing profit from selling those replacement parts. So to sum this whole shebang up, making longevity actually happen requires just a few simple shifts in the industry. We need dedicated apps that instantly diagnose hardware health so buyers can actually trust used phones. We need simple one-click prompts that pop up on your old phone, offering to buy it back the literal second you upgrade. We need those second-life, lightweight operating systems, and we desperately need screens and batteries to be modular and easily swappable again. The blueprint is literally all there. We can completely eliminate those laggy budget phones, we can skip the compromised mid-range screens, and we can stop filling landfills with precious metals. So I'll leave you with this final thought for the next time your screen cracks or your battery finally dies. Will your next phone be a brand new compromise, or will you step into this circular economy and grab a premium, lasting flagship? The choice is entirely yours.